So there are reports that Apple, in the process of developing the iPhone 7, which of course needs to be skinnier, because at this point, like, yes, eventually there's going to be a new iteration and we're going to be able to like interface in 3D with other people and have biometric scams and all this other nonsense on our phones. But in the short term, and I know the real geeks out there and the real nerds are going to be like, yeah, the processing speed, blah, blah, blah. But for normal people who text, who listen to music, who check their email, who take photos, who do all of this stuff on their iPhones and their smartphones in general, you don't need that much more. And basically what Apple is doing is they are just in a constant process of creating new desires and new neurosis and new status symbols. And the iPhone 7 is going to be a skinnier one. That's basically going to be the big takeaway. And as part of this quest to make it a skinnier phone, there are reports out in Quartz and I think also the Express in Britain that the new iPhone 7 will have a non-standard proprietary headphone jack. Now, what does this mean? If you have these stupid earbuds like I do, they're going to be totally irrelevant for the iPhone 7. Now, what is the next step of what that means? Well, if you're a iCult sucker, you'll go like, yes, I will also have the new $60 headphones for the new phone that I'm waiting in line and got pneumonia to buy. Yes, thank you, please. And then all of these old ones will get thrown into the oceans where they will cause more pollution. Or if you're like me, that might be it for me. I love my iPhone. I'm not going to lie. But like, and I also don't buy it. It's not like Apple is so much more, you know, all of these companies involved in these businesses as part of their supply chain get, you know, minerals from the Congo. They assemble phones in ways that involve sweatshop labor. And, you know, their electronic waste is a major problem. And as a design question, Apple, to me, undoubtedly is the best design interface and is the most pleasant to use. And I'm not like a real computer dork. I know people who are really into this stuff say that you can do a lot more with like a Google phone or something like that. But I don't want to do a lot more. I just want to listen to Nas and text people. Okay? That's it. Occasionally take a picture. So I was so annoyed by this, and I realized I'm so annoyed because, you know, at least with Exxon or a company like that, it's like, yes, our job is to take your money and rape and pillage the earth. Apple is like, our job is to rape and pillage the earth, but we're also going to throw some really new agey quotes at you and pretend that we have this like larger, greater mission, which, look, I'm not going to deny everybody's lives have been improved. But if you are in a position to play with their computers and phones, it unlocks a lot of collaborative and creative potential. But the environmental consequences of these products and the tax policies of this company, I mean, guys, before you even get to paying your proper taxes and before you even get to maybe doing more for the environment or maybe stop making your products in brutal Chinese sweatshops, at least drop the sanctimony, for God's sake. And I want to warn everybody, we're going to play a clip from Bill Burr. This was after Steve Jobs died. I apologize to everybody who's fully in the thralls of Steve Jobs' worship. I don't hate Steve Jobs. I don't love Steve Jobs. He was a complex dude, which is a good thing. But the worship was nauseating. So I apologize if you're one of those worshipers. And I also want to warn everybody that there are a couple of F words in this bit. But let's listen to Bill Burr talking about the Steve Jobs myth.
I know, this is always uncomfortable. I know, you bought into it, right? That whole advertising, the way they aligned themselves with some of the greatest people of all time. Jesus, Gandhi, me! Remember that? Muhammad Ali, John Lennon, this guy! How the fuck was that dude like any of them? Gandhi didn't have a sweatshop. Nah, he didn't have people leaping to their deaths only to catch a net and get ricocheted back through the window to have to put together yet another iPad. John Lennon didn't have children in his basement pressing those fucking albums. I know. New phone can't fit the old charger. This is your hero?
Exactly.
This is the guy? This is what all the silence is about? New phone can't fit the old charger, so then you got to throw it out, ends up in the ocean around some octopus's neck. Do you realize how much sea life is ecstatic that that man is no longer walking the earth?
Yeah, exactly. I co-sign. And there is a petition on Some of Us, that's SUM of us, to keep Apple from doing this thing with the headphones. I mean, I know that there are much bigger deals in the world, but there's just something about that act in and of itself, the just sort of insult to their consumers and the mind-boggling amount of waste that that's going to create for no reason, that distills so much of what's wrong about our world and that company that it needed to be addressed.
And just to pile on a bit more, you notice they come out with these cheaper iPhone models, and they make them the most like just garish, colorful things, so they're easily identifiable. Oh, there's a person with one of the cheap iPhones.
That's what Gandhi said. Gandhi's like, I want all of the spinning wheels that the poor people use to be marked in different colors so people know that they have less of the money and they can be shamed. You are worth what you make. Libertarian Gandhi would be down with Apple. The supply chain at Foxconn makes sense because the Chinese need to have the jobs and they would do this. You see that they make the dumplings all day in the back of the kitchen.